Last time on my Monster Hunter 4U journey, it was ruined by the fact that my 3DS wasn't working, but I fixed everything up. We put on some JoJo music, and we got our first Monster Hunter on 3DS experience.
Oh my god, am I gonna cart?
Welcome back, Classy Crew, to another 4U journal as I properly start Monster Hunter 4U on the 3DS. Although I have to say, with all the conversation around Citra, emulation, the 3DS not being as accessible anymore, whatever that means, I think it was good to have experienced the whole Citra thing, even though I kind of stumbled into it, that I can now compare the two, because this was actually something I was thinking about a lot leading up to 4U. Do I plan Citra? Do I plan 3DS? I can now very confidently say I am wholeheartedly in on playing on the 3DS because I love playing it on the original hardware and not being worried about anything. The fact that I was opening up menus, there was no audio distortions, I could use like the Street Pass features, even though I'm not going to meet anybody with a Street Pass thing in the next ever. My only real complaint is the hardware is so tiny. I've always played Monster Hunter with a controller, and so the 3DS gets heavy, especially with two cables on the back. I've got my capture card in there and my power cord. Holding it, there's a constant pull on it, so that gets tiring on the hands. I always, like, it's just small, and the nub, my goodness, I'm playing on a new 3DS XL, which isn't so new. But that nub for the camera, I mean, it's okay, it's better than nothing, but it's rough, like especially as you're getting into tough fights and things are warming up, like your thumb is flicking the nub. Like the left side of the 3DS has a circle pad. Why couldn't they put one on the right side? Or why couldn't they have made it so that the nub was optional and could be replaced with the circle pad? The only thing I did buy is I found a accessory that lets you clip on grips onto the 3DS, so that it has a little bit more of that, like whatever you call it, the texture of a controller, so it's gonna feel a little bit more like a controller. But anyways, restarting on the 3DS lent to a few repetitive tasks, but there were some opportunities as well. Like I never quite realized how much similarities there are between Monster Hunter 4U's intro and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, specifically Part 3, where it's Joestar, who's an older man, and they actually go like across Egypt and stuff. It just fits so well. So even the guild dude that you pair up with, I'm sorry, I forget his name, but Red, like he's all dressed in red with the red hat, like that guy looks like JoJo too. So to make the intro a little bit more interesting, I was like, what would happen if we just put some JoJo music to this?
Kinda does.
And it kicked in just as like the whale beast was, like you were fighting that thing, and then like the other hunters were coming up. Some parts lined up with the music perfectly like an anime. I'm just like, I was getting goosebumps. It worked, so it was a fun time. And everybody was getting like jiggly thicks in the chat. It was a good time. So we had an amazing opening, just some good vibes overall. I changed my hunter. I changed him from being this old veteran where I'm like, I'm not feeling this yet. So I'm back to being a young hunter. I went with the dopey face because why not? Let's have fun while we can. Got all the DLC. This was another nice peace of mind. The fact that I didn't have to go get some other file to get the DLC. I just downloaded it. We got Poogie, all his costumes. I got to try a bunch of Poogie costume. My favorite this time so far may be, and I think this is how you pronounce it, Mejor Amigo. I'm assuming it's Spanish. Another thing that we needed to change up, the chat wanted to see the map. So usually you see the map on the bottom screen. And I just put it on the top of the screen, which removes so much real estate. That thing takes up half the screen, but you kind of get used to it. Like at first, like, oh, that's ugly, but it gives the audience a little bit more context for what's going on. And honestly, it doesn't bother me that much. I also finally got to see the cooking scene, which is apparently something that's just bugged out completely on the Citra version of the game. I did make more progress on the game, even though I did repeat because I had less technical issues, and because I knew what I was doing, I was able to speed through a few more things. One downside of restarting is I wasn't able to upgrade my charge blade for the Celtis fight. And so I don't know how I got Monster Essence last time, but somehow I got Monster Essence very easily. This time I have not gotten any Monster Essence, which is what I need to upgrade my charge blade, and so I'm on a reduced charge blade, which is hurting me with a reduced camera ability because I'm stuck with the nub.
Man! Oh my god.
So Celtis ended up being a lot harder this time, which is really concerning to me because he was a fun, easy fight when I played him with the Xbox controller, but to play him with the 3DS controller is a whole different difficulty. And I'm like, this is the first monster. How much harder is this gonna get when I'm fighting freaking Elder Dragons? It's gonna be ridiculous. Hopefully by that time, I'm like a pro like nub wheeler or whatever, but man, I guess I'm pronouncing this whole SAED thing wrong. Some of you commented in chat, some of you commented on the last YouTube video that I'm saying it wrong. No surprises there, I say everything wrong apparently. But some of you are saying it's SAED, which I'm gonna say that's not a very efficient way. Like, the whole point of an acronym is to make it shorter. But if you're going SAED, that is 4-syllable word. I've reduced it to 2, Saeed. And some of you say it's said, but like, I'm gonna slam you with a said. It's no, Saeed. So from there, I discovered I could actually click around on things on the map when I'm in the village. I discovered a new city called Dundorma. I think it's the capital city. Really cool vibe here, very mysterious. There's a guard who's like, you can't go through here. I'm like, oh, you wait, you Lance user, I can get right through you. Explored a little bit what was going around here, and there was a very cool music hall where you could listen to a performance. And the song reminded me very much of the Cetus theme from Monster Hunter 3U, and I think it's the same voice actress or the same songstress that sings these songs. These little moments in Monster Hunter, or any video game really, add so much charm and life to the world that you are living in. I love these little things. It doesn't really do anything to the gameplay or make like the game harder, easier, whatever, but it adds atmosphere. And I feel there needs to be more of these things. Like, as we gamers ask for things in our games, I think we should ask for more of these little simple things that just bring more charm. Like, I remember dipping your Palico in the hot tub in Monster Hunter World. That was like, I still remember that. It was one of the most adorable things I can remember. Monster Hunter wise, when you start off with like just the cutscene of being in your house and you're waking up and there's 2 ladies, strange ladies walking into your room, like, it just adds world building. I feel there needs to be more consistent world building in Monster Hunter, and it just has to be oh so tasty. Like, I've just cooked some meat, it's delicious, it's very tasty. These are the things we need. Those are not the things you cut out or you dilute. Anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. So next up, outside of Dundorma, I can also go on expeditions. I don't quite understand the point of an expedition. I don't know why they exist compared to just typical quests. I'm not quite sure what they're supposed to do, but through these expeditions I met some old nemesis. Nemesis? What's the plural of nemesis? My Monster Hunter 1 freaking challenges showed up again. Velocidrome and Yankutku. 2 monsters that somehow I've completely avoided in the rest of all that doesn't exist in all the other games, except Monster Hunter 1, which I played, who gave me such a bad time, show up back to back in expeditions. 2 different expeditions, but still back to back. So Velocidrome, I was ready. I'm like, oh, I'm coming after you. And I think I killed him in like 10 minutes. He was nothing, just Saeed him. And then there was Yankutku, which I was super cautious because I don't think in Monster Hunter 1 they had conchus. Now they have conchus, and Yankutku likes the conchu. And when he eats the conchu, I think he's able to spit fire. He spits the conchu out. Anyways, he's more dangerous because he's got conchu. And conchu C, he's more dangerous. I'm going to be making lots of conchu puns. He wasn't as difficult either. And one of the biggest differences, just thinking thematically, I'm going to compare Monster Hunter 1 Yankutku to Monster Hunter 4U Yankutku. The world in Monster Hunter 4U is bright. You first encounter him on this beautiful, like, green, clear landscape, beautiful sun. It's bright. It's a happy day to slay a Yankutku. When I encountered this thing in Monster Hunter 1, you're in a jungle. It is dark. You can't see it. There's just stuff blocking your view. There's monsters attacking you. There's things ramming you. This is way more introductory, start of game friendly. Monster Hunter 1 just doesn't care. It just punches you, steals your money, and you better run back if you want to. You better run and get your money back if you want your lunch. 2 new monsters down in Monster Hunter 4U. Velocidrome, Yankutku, both of them gone. Can't really build any armor from those parts or any new weapons, so I'm gonna have to grind some of these out soon to get anything decent. And I've also unlocked now guild quests, which I don't quite understand what they are yet. It sounds like an anomaly quest from Monster Hunter Sunbreak, or as people say, the anomaly quests are probably inspired by this. From what I understand, you can do guild quests, you can level them up, and they rank up like, I'm not quite sure what's going on there. But I think I can do another single player run before I probably have to open it up to multiplayer to just do some grind and get some better armor and some better weapons. So that's where I'm at. I'm all caught up. I'm on the 3DS. I'm going to stick to the 3DS. I am still really loving the game, but man, the controls, I really would. If I had an Xbox controller, this would be one of my favorite games by far. And I know you guys, a lot of you guys play Monster Hunter on handhelds first. I can't do it. But let me know, what do you prefer? Do you prefer handheld Monster Hunter? Or do you prefer console Monster Hunter? What was your experience like on 3DS? How did your hands feel after so many hunts? How did you get the hard hunts on a 3DS? I want to know. So let me know. And otherwise, I will see you on the next journal. And until next time, keep it classy.